With me now is Candance Laing, President and CEO of the Canadian Chamber of Commerce. Candance, thanks for being here.
Hello, Matt.
This is a really large trade mission. I think, very rarely do we see close to 400 delegates, I think, from across the country. So I think it speaks to the significance of this. What are you focused on, though, with this large mission heading to Mexico for these talks?
Well, it is very significant. Let me give you a bit of a flavor for what it's like being here and part of this mission. So yesterday we kicked off Canadian Chamber delegates alongside the government's Team Canada, and we were briefed and we had a good gathering at the embassy, and it was overwhelming, almost those 370 people together getting ready for what really starts today is the connection with the Mexican delegation, which will be just as large, so double that amount. And why that's significant, just talking with businesses last evening, what they're used to is perhaps on a trade mission, you would bring 15 to 25 businesses down here and do some site visits. That is so different than what this unique and significant effort entails, which is, I think we're over around 2,000 business to business connections. And kudos to the government's Team Canada for really facilitating that matching service for all these businesses that are down here. So talking with one business owner last night, I said, what does success look like for you? And he's like, well, I'm going to get, at least 3 to 4 good business connections. And then he's hoping one of those he can follow up on. And I think in the next following weeks, we'll see those follow-ups happen. So it's really the scale and the opportunity that scale affords, which is so significant with this trade mission.
Yeah, and again, I'm sure lots of logistics clearly going into those conversations and in such a large group. Mexico is Canada's 3rd largest trading partner, behind the U.S., behind China, at least at this point. And again, there's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to the CUSMA review, what's going to happen this summer, at least for this. So what are the areas for you, Candance, that you think, that businesses can focus on? Are there certain sectors in particular? Or as you mentioned, it's just about those business-to-business connections that could lead to that increase in direct trade?
Yeah, well, this is a huge trade mission, but it is focused on certain sectors where we believe there's more opportunity. And what happens actually in the next few days is the delegates on this mission will kind of stream into their areas of interest and focus. And so we have a lot in our trade going on in the auto sector, but there is massive opportunity when you look at advanced manufacturing and agriculture and telecom and creative industries, which there are a lot of people here for that sector as well. So there's a ton of opportunity. I would say we haven't actually leaned in to what CUSMA, our trade agreement, affords us, and we just have not invested in building the relationships or educating ourselves or connecting those businesses so they can invest and lean into those opportunities.
And do you think that's a result, too, just because of our dependence on the United States, too, as well? Like when we talk about how closely that has been tied, that maybe some of those business connections, again, some of those opportunities have been left behind because of CUSMA, but as a result of how Donald Trump has reordered the geopolitical nature of things right now, that's what's forced this?
Yeah, and I would say instead of dependence, it's been absolutely a result of our comfort. And, we haven't needed to lean in and diversify. And, it is a lot of work and our businesses will need support. And that's why we're focused on that at the Canadian Chamber of Commerce. And Team Canada is leaning so heavily into this as well, because it does take an intentional effort and investment to build the relationships, to learn and understand markets and what those opportunities are and how to navigate those markets. And absolutely, Canada just hasn't had to, or we have chosen not to, based on our level of trade with the United States.
Okay, Candance Laing, President and CEO of the Canadian Chamber of Commerce. Appreciate your time today, Candance. We'll catch up with you soon.
Thanks, Matt.